Welcome back to part 2 of my Jordan Trail series. After conquering the first 4 days from Karak to Dana, in this video it will get wilder. Way wilder. Right after the ancient town of Dana, where I stayed for the last night, the Dana Nature Reserve opens its gates and welcomes me with a breathtaking scenery.
Good morning guys, welcome to part 2 of the Jordan Trail. I just left Dana. I got my permit to hike the trail here through the Dana Valley until Petra. It's gonna be hot. Today awaits 22 kilometers. I already did a few. What I expect from now on is more wilderness. Right now I'm in the Dana Biosphere Reservoir, which is the biggest biosphere reservoir or protected area overall in Jordan. I'm just making some coffee. I had breakfast at the hotel. As the trail gets more sandy now, I guess. Let me show you my homemade gaiters. Can you see that? They're super lightweight because they are made out of old tights. Yeah, they should prevent me from getting too much sand or stones in my shoes. My girlfriend came up with that idea, because she's not only a cutie pie, she's also a smarty pie. Unreal guys, look at all this. We can see something against the sun. This is so beautiful. What is different also from this stretch to the other stretches so far, this one is not waymarked, but the trail, you can see the trail absolutely clearly, so it's easier for me to navigate here, at least on this stretch, than it was on the previous stages where there was waymarking but no visible path. So there was a caravan passing by recently. These are clearly camel toes.
What I love about deserts is that there is not too much of anything, except sand or stones maybe. A desert gives you time to explore, not only the tracks in the sand, but the few and at the same time also plenty of plants that manage to grow in these conditions. Some of them tiny, only a few centimeters big, others massive trees that provide highly needed shadow. And also the little creatures that roam around. This is the Palestinian sunbird, in his appearance kind of like a hummingbird. Despite its small size, it plays a big role as a pollinator, much like hummingbirds in the Americas. The male is especially striking, with iridescent feathers that shimmer in shades of metallic blue, green and purple when caught in the sunlight. These birds thrive in gardens, deserts and urban areas, feeding mainly on nectar but also sometimes on small insects. By the way, what I just learned while researching for this video, the red flowers the sunbird is eating from are a parasite. The tree is actually an acacia, and the flowers and leaves you see are from a parasitic plant called acacia strapflower, which you find actually pretty often here. Sometimes the trees are so overgrown with them that you think that that is the tree, or it's a different kind of tree, which happened to me here, to be honest. There are a bunch of camels. Now we're in the real desert. The camels you see here, like probably every camel you see in Jordan, are not wild. They belong to Bedouins. They are used for their meat, milk, but also as means of transport when the Bedouins relocate their camps. I found this very interesting plant. Honestly, it looks a little bit like some kind of cabbage from the leaves, but I mean it's huge. Look at the stem. Huh. Interesting. Guys, maybe I've been panicking a little bit, but I found water. This is probably the last spring for the next 20 kilometers. Pretty important place for me to refill all my water. I mean, I just sat down with two beduins. They offered me a little bit of food and tea, and they told me a bit of the next few stages. Also that in this area there are many beduins. I won't struggle because Bedouins usually are very generous people, so they won't let me they won't let me die here in the desert. Of course, water holes in the desert are places where everybody meets, huh? It's a nice little come together. Actually wanted to refill the water from here now because it's way faster, but there are so many feathers inside. So this behind me is so in front of me is the little town or settlement of Faina, I think. And here behind me you see the mosque and school. Just played a little bit of football with some kids. Obviously I got invited again for some tea and stuff, but you know, if you accept all the offers here, you need at least a week longer. Very lovely people. Sometimes I'm not really happy about stopping all the time, but now I'm so happy. Like, I will get a closer shot of them, but there are two, I don't know, cone-headed grasshoppers. I have to check which species it is, but I think they are mating right now. And they look so crazy. Wow, really beautiful animals. The last part of the stage before reaching Wadi Malaga was mainly following dirt roads that are used by Bedouins and tour operators with the 4x4s. It was easy to walk. I passed another bunch of Bedouin camps until I was actively looking for a place to pitch up my tent as the sun was starting to get low. That's my camp spot for the night. It must be one of the coolest camp spots I ever had. So far it's a bit windy. I hope it doesn't get that much stronger. But the options were limited. What a day, huh? In my opinion, the most beautiful so far today. Also now with this amazing sunset after the eventful last days with so many new friends. I'm really happy to have my solitude here. Apart from the wind, there is no noise. Okay, I'm gonna recheck the route for tomorrow again and enjoy the sunset. See you tomorrow, guys.
Good morning.
Day 6 starts with a steep ascent, which is part of crossing a mountain range. We will get up to nearly 1000 meters in altitude before the descent into Wadi Fate, where there will be a pleasant surprise waiting for me. Slowly getting steeper. This part was not easy, as many loose rocks were in the partly steep sections. Again, I was lucky I had my hiking poles with me. They just give you this extra stability and definitely prevent some pains and sore muscles.
It seems like a tough day.
Definitely one of the coolest parts of the trail so far. I think I nearly made the ascent, and just earlier I was totally lost in my thoughts. Today I'm slave to my fucking thoughts. Very much negative thoughts, to be honest. Anyway, when I was totally lost, suddenly someone yelled at me to invite me to their camp, to Beduins, Attila and Abdullah. Two older guys, very friendly, didn't speak more than a few words English, but we managed to communicate, and they also invited me for lots of chai and also food. So delicious, very simple, potatoes and tomatoes with a few herbs, amazing food, and some bread heated up over the fire. Perfect. Very, very friendly people. And after the ascent follows the descent.
The scenery on this day was one of the most beautiful along the whole trail. Crossing this mountain range was magical. Being alone out here, I felt very far away from any civilization. It felt very wild and untouched. Every corner I turned revealed more views of incredible beauty. But even here, high in the mountains, you have more company than you might expect.
Okay, the path continues in this direction, but I hear very promising noises from that direction, so let's check that out. Look how much water there is. Yeah! Whew! That was lots of fun. Nice. Quick shower on the go.
Never would I have expected to find so much water here in the middle of the desert. And never would I have thought that I will get a refreshing shower on that day. This trail is full of surprises, and most of them have been amazing so far.
Okay, so there is a chance that this is the last source for water for the next 24 kilometers, so basically until little Petra, which I should arrive tomorrow evening. So yeah, I'm gonna stock up all my water.
Another highlight of the day was soon to follow. After following upstream for a bit, I reached the deep carved cliffs of Wadi Fate. Formations like this develop over thousands of years. Starting with just a tiny little stream on a rock surface, countless rainfalls and flash floods later, these canyons form. Today it is safe to walk through them during a dry period. But during strong rainfall, these beautiful places can turn into death traps pretty fast. Flash floods are one of the biggest dangers to hikers on the Jordan Trail.
Sometimes this seems so unreal. I'm asking myself what the fuck I'm actually doing here. But it's also so beautiful. Holy fucking hell. Okay, so this is basically the official end of today's stage. I have 3 hours of sunlight left, and the Bedouin from yesterday told me that he recommends going a bit further, because tomorrow, first of all, is also a long stage with I think 23 or 24 kilometers, so I can do at least a little bit. Okay, in front of me is a little farm, Bedouin camp, I don't know, and the dogs are already going crazy. And they're coming already in my direction. Oh wow, I'm ready to fight them. Absolutely ready to fuck them up. Little motherfucker. Okay. Lots of stone throwing, lots of shouting. The Bedouins or shepherds did their best to keep their dogs back. Anyway, as soon as I was throwing stones, they were scared. Which is good. Fucking cunts. Oh, so because of that I'm climbing off trail now, this very steep section. I mean, it's not slippery, it's positive, but it's steep. Can you see it like this? Doesn't look as steep as it is. It's way steeper. Wow, what a day! Being asleep on the cliffs over there. Okay, that's it. That's my camp. Maybe I find something with less stones. Morning. This is day 7. It was a rather cold night, but I heard a lot of wolves in the distance and also sometimes quite near. Like they were howling about today, I think like 18-19 kilometers until little Petra. Yesterday I checked before sleeping. There are a lot of Bedouin tents, there are a lot of Bedouin camps. I don't know if I can wild camp there, to be honest, like at least in peace. So this looks like an area where wolves would chill. Most of the howling came from the canyon, so it came from underneath, but the closest came from somewhere above me, and there are not many places that are close and above me, so it was probably from here. On the other hand, the fur of wolves and also jackals has the exact same color as the ground, so really hard to spot them. But also they don't like humans, a little bit like me. They are gone as soon as they hear people, I think. So spotting them now is probably nearly impossible. And if you ask yourself if the wolves here are a threat to people, no. The Arabian wolf is a subspecies of the Eurasian wolf, but way smaller. Also, I remember that they don't hunt in packs. They are rather loners, and yeah, so way smaller and basically absolutely no threat to humans. So I told you about most of the people I've met so far. They are like, what the fuck, why are you hiking through the desert? Blah blah blah. They think I'm crazy, like the locals. Also foreigners, of course. But since I'm in this area where there are mostly Bedouins, they're like, okay, cool, have fun. Because this area, like the walk from at least Dana to or probably through the whole country and beyond, is their way to work, or their work actually, since hundreds of years. So for them it's absolutely normal. I mean, they often have camels or donkeys or horses as support, but still for them it's absolutely normal. Where are you going? No, Aquabar, just by foot. Okay, cool, nice. Passing these camps, interesting, but I didn't see a person yet. First time seeing one of these weird dome camps, or however they are called. It's like for tourists, and they pay a lot of money for their Bedouin or desert experience. That's what I said earlier with this 40-30 euros per night. Don't know if it's worth that money, but you decide. So this part is really hard to navigate again. There are no signs, there are no really visible paths. There are new properties, or like at least fences and stuff, that don't make it easy to find a path through here. You hear my GPS is constantly telling me that I'm on the track or off the track, but as I said, it's not so easy at the moment. Okay, I reached the highest point for today. From now on it should only be straight and downwards. And then 2.5 kilometers the stage should already be over. I still have no idea what to expect down there, and if it will be like crowded, and if there will be like a lot of camps, commercial camps, or if I can just pitch my tent somewhere. We'll find out, I guess. Trail is getting wild again. There we go. So even though it's steep and like close to the edge all the time, on stuff like this it's 100 times easier to stand than on loose rocks, because they're super slippery and make hiking there pretty dangerous. Huh. Now look at this. Probably some Bedouins use it as a camp. Wanted to show this amazing camp spot, but it's apparently more of a home. Nice. Wow. That's fun. There we go. Easy going. Wow. What a scenery. The sun is relentless today. It's insane. It's so hot. Apparently I followed the trail for like 100 meters in the wrong direction. Okay. That's the way. There is also like a camp or whatever this is. Okay, so this was actually already the entrance to Little Petra, which is the outpost of Petra, which you might know as one of the 7 world wonders. And suddenly I was in Little Petra. Compared to its famous neighbor, way less crowded, way more intimate. But after spending 3 days alone in the desert, still a bit weird to suddenly stand between tourists and pass souvenir shops. It was likely used as a suburb for traders where caravans once stopped, rested and exchanged goods. Carved into the rock you'll find dining halls, storage rooms and even traces of ancient wall paintings. Walking through Little Petra feels like stepping into a forgotten corner of history, untouched and almost secret. So, I'm walking up to this little village. First of all, on the halfway there will be a little supermarket. Second of all, up there is an accommodation with a singles room and private bathroom for 12 JD, including breakfast. Maybe I also get some dinner. Now I'm going to head up there. It's about a 25 minutes walk. Sleeping outside here is somehow doesn't seem so nice. I passed all the nice camp spots actually. Before you enter Little Petra through this valley, there are amazing camp spots, but I passed them all because I actually thought that here will be more, but that was bullshit from me. All right, welcome to day 8. We're straight heading to the Nabatean capital of Petra. I just left my accommodation for the night. My host was very friendly. We had great dinner, great breakfast. It was super comfortable. And now he brought me here and showed me the way to the ticket office. Because obviously you have to get a ticket to Petra, which is quite expensive, but I knew that. So I will have to pay 55 JD. But yes, I mean, it's a pretty unique place to visit, I guess. Lucky the door is open. So I just met a couple of guys from Austria and we walked the path a little bit together. And where I'm standing now is a Neolithic village, just on the outskirts of Petra. This place was inhabited probably as long as 9,000 years ago. It's insane, huh? If you're not familiar with what the Neolithic period was, it was the time when humanity switched from being nomads to settle down, to build houses, to start agriculture and stuff, grow their own food, and staying at one place for a longer time, which is basically where and why our modern world in that capitalist hellscape that we're living right now started.
And so I started the final stretch into Petra, the capital of the Nabatean kingdom, a city in the middle of the desert that was able to provide food and especially water for about 30 to 40,000 people in its prime days. And that was about 2,000 years ago. When approaching Petra from the back entrance, you first have to climb a load of stairs before reaching one of the major landmarks of the whole city, the monastery, Adventuretravel. Carved high into the rocks and even larger than the treasury, it sits quietly above the surrounding landscape, rewarding the long climb with sweeping views across the desert.
I had really nice encounters earlier. Just now I met a Chinese couple. They also made a little video for their TikTok with me, and they also took a picture of me, and the guy had a printer with him and immediately printed it and gave me the picture, which I think is really, really cute. It's also a nice picture. Very cool, very cool. Really thankful for that. So I think overall this is the first long distance hike that I'm doing where I also walk through souvenir shops and stuff. Just had this realization. Steps are not made for everyone, but these are the original steps, I think. Most of them.
Overall, Petra is so huge and majestic, it deserves an own video. But there are so many on YouTube already, so if you want to learn more about this place, feel free to watch one of your choice. As you descend further into the city, you reach the remains of the Great Temple. This wasn't a single temple in the classical sense, but a vast complex with courtyards, columns and gathering spaces, likely used for political and religious events. It shows how advanced and organized Nabatean society really was. Not far from here lies the Byzantine church, dating back to a much later period when Petra was part of the Byzantine world. Inside, intricate floors mosaics have been preserved, depicting animals, people and everyday life, offering a rare glimpse into a completely different chapter of Petra's history. Another striking structure is the Qasr al-Bint, a cube-like building standing free from the cliffs. Unlike most of Petra, it wasn't carved into rock but built from stone blocks. It's believed to have been one of the city's main temples, possibly dedicated to the Nabatean god Dushara. Along the way, you pass the royal tombs, massive burial chambers carved into the cliffs, showcasing the wealth and craftsmanship of the Nabatean kingdom. Nearby lies the ancient theatre, later expanded by the Romans, a reminder of how Petra evolved over time. And finally, at the end of the narrow canyon, the Isik, you arrive at Al-Kasneh, the treasury.
At this point I really want to go back to the desert. Go to the desert where nobody is. But look what we reached.
Rising about 40 meters high, its facade is carved entirely into the sandstone cliff, with columns, statues and intricate details inspired by Greek and Egyptian architecture. The urn at the top is said to have once fueled legends of hidden treasures. Locals even shot at it, hoping to break it open. Despite its name, it was most likely a royal tomb, possibly for a Nabatean king. And standing here, after the long walk, it's one of those moments that truly live up to the hype. The next day I spent exploring Petra, filming much of the shots you just saw. This was my only pause day. After exploring the rest of Petra, I spent the day in Wadi Musa, restocking my supplies and getting ready for what I think will be the hardest stretch of the trail.
eating a lot of food in Wadi Musa's restaurants and having a relaxing experience in Hamad. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. So Petra was pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie, like it's weird seeing so many people, although I met many nice people. A bunch of people ask me about Jordan Trail and stuff. Still, it's a bit too much at the moment. Good thing I booked a singles room and not a dorm. Alright, next section cleared. I arrived in Petra, Wadi Musa, where I'm gonna stay for the next day. For 2 nights, so to rest a little bit and get all my food and stuff restocked. Well, I'm definitely gonna visit a couple of restaurants here. Right, guys, I'm not sure when we see each other next time, but see you then. Have a good day. Bye bye.